beautiful evening to you. You're welcome to Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. My name is Kingsley, a man of very sorry for coming behind time. But of course, we have a lot for you today revolving around the beautiful world of sport. On today's edition of the show, we shall take a look at the performance of Team Nigeria's performance. Team Nigeria at the Paralympic game, as well as the Super Eagles' performance against Benin Republic in the 2025 AFCON qualifiers over the weekend. It promises to be another exciting time talking sport this evening on Atlantic Television Network. We'll take a short break, and when we come back from the break, we'll bring you all that you need to know revolving around the beautiful world of sports. Stay with us, we'll be right back. Welcome back. Still Sports Extraordinary on Atlantic Television Network. It is a Monday edition of the show. A lot's happened over the weekend, and of course we have to bring you all that happened over the weekend in the beautiful world of sport. It is me this evening to take a look at some of the issues I will be discussing this evening. Michael, good evening to you and welcome to the show.
Yeah, good evening to you, Kingsley, and good evening to our viewers.
We have to take a look at Team Nigeria's performance. This time is a total of 7 medals for Team Nigeria. What do you make of it?
For me, I think it's not an impressive one. Going by the preparation and the words of some of these key players, talking about the para-athletes who were in the center of the whole thing. You know, building up to the Paralympic game, there were much noise, there were much, emphasis on the need for them to at least, but by surpassing their previous record in the last outing where we actually won about 10 medals. But then I think right from the get-go, we actually struggled. The Team Nigeria actually struggled, to at least find their footing. But then I think they were able to finish very strong. A total of 7 medals in all, 2 gold, 2 bronze. For me, I think it is not what so many Nigerians expected, because we had expected them to surpass their previous encounter. Going by the preparation and some word of encouragement from the para-athletes, we actually expected them to pass. To surpass their previous encounter. Maybe this time around getting more like 15 medals or 20 or thereabouts, but then it wasn't to be go out there and win something. But I tell you, Kingsley, this is the worst performance in the history of Nigerian team in terms of the para-athletic display. Even the first edition in 1992 where we attended, we had about 6 representatives, but then we were still able to amass about 9 or 8 medals. This time around, we went out there with much larger contingent, yet we couldn't even surpass, the 1992 edition where we had the fewer athletes, about 6, representing the country. So for me, I think totally, you may say it's not a good outing for us, but then we're still able to, we finished on the 40th position. You may say, yeah, not too bad, but then taking a look at Nigerian history, I tell you, it is not a good one for me.
Not a good one at all. But Michael, just like you mentioned, one of the worst, you could say, in Nigeria's outing at the Paralympic game. What could be the reason?
Facing is a perennial problem. One has come to stay, because it looks as though the authorities are not doing anything to change the narrative of poor planning, late preparation, and not doing the right thing at the right point in time. Other countries that are doing pretty well, countries like China, USA, Great Britain, France, they always prepare early. Poor preparation, many times or most times when we want to go for this kind of big competition, we just relax on our oars, maybe 2 weeks time or even a month time. That is if we have started preparation early, we start in a month time. Well, other countries are starting 2 years, 3 years planning. When we start preparation a month time before competition, we say, oh, we have started preparation in SS, we've done this. No, you don't get it right by starting preparation for such big competition. You know, for other countries who knows the essence of this kind of competition, they start preparation 4 years, 3 years, minimum of 2 years down the line, and that is how they get to do well out there. And some of their athletes, they start from the infant stage to start nurturing some of these athletes. And for we here, it is only when we are heading close to major tournament that is when we begin to find work to look for some athletes that are capable enough. How do you want to use that method of steady preparation to go and compete in the highest level with countries that have started preparation 3 years, 4 years down the line, and for countries that have actually taken their time, you know, to keep a close eye on some of these potentials at their tender age? You know, we don't do that, and you expect us to go and do exploits. Despite the fact that $15,000 was given for the winner of gold medal, $10,000 for silver, started their preparation early from the tender age. It doesn't work that way. So for me, I think that is the only problem, and that is the major clog in the wheel of progress for us. You know, not attaining the height of China, United States, Great Britain, France, name it. If not, we have the potentials, you know, to even surpass them. But then you begin to ask yourself, what are we not getting right? And these things are things that our sport administrators, they are aware about these things. They travel over, they go to some of these countries for their leisure time. Job boost step toward doing the right thing, so that it will enable us to compete at the highest level and put our name in a warm-up. Countries like China that are topping the medal slug every time, USA, China, Great Britain, do they have different heads? What are they doing? Is it a rocket science? No, these things are not rocket science. It is not magic, neither is it voodoo. You know, it's about proper planning. So this is what we need to do. When they go out there to learn of these good things, when they come back to the country, Nigeria, why don't they implement it? What is it? Is it who has bewitched us? Somebody will ask. So I think that is the major issue, and we need to be up. Preparation should start right now for the next 4 years. And I tell you, if we start preparation in NS right now, I tell you there is no way getting to that 4 years period that we will not surpass this outing of this very year.
All right, let's say it goes, it was 2 gold, 3 silver.
Committee, the headman out there talking about Trezeguet, I think it's very clear shortly after the closing ceremony of the overbody Olympic game that they want to also create a last long memory about the Paralympic, that one that would actually stand the test of time, that other countries bidding to host it would actually look back and say, yes, this is what we want to emulate. This is, at least for me, it has through. Take a look at the closing ceremony, their folklore, you know, out there. So I think it's a massive one. Men have actually threatened brimstone and fire, you know, to stop or even, you know, thwart the effort.
What the next edition
got to the final and actually hosted, you know, the home girl out there, Jessica, just want to maintain that relevance of staying as the world #1 or world #2. You know, most of them, they take pride in sustaining that momentum of maintaining that high standard other than looking at the money out there. From the point that she has racked up, add to what she has already, she will be very, very close to catching up with the world #1 as it is right now.
At this stage of Grand Slam, and she finally got down there this time, but couldn't get past Arina Sabalenka. We understand, of course, the fans were, of course, giving her that support, but she couldn't utilize it.
Yes, of course. You know, many times, just like a friend was discussing with me 3 days ago, he said that, my brother, if
been through heavy criticism from fans, and as well as his colleagues, some tennis players as well, he had to actually put everything down to go all the way to the final of the US Open to take up another Grand Slam for himself.
For me, I just think that Sina has a very dogged and a very rugged mental capacity to be able to absorb some of those pressure and distraction. Criticism that he has gotten on the way to the final of this very one. Just 19 years, where there was a whole lot of accusation and make it to Grand Slam after winning the Australian Open and also winning the US Open as well. I think for me it's a big victory. Coming up against another homeboy, Taylor Fritz, with the fans as well on his behalf, cheering him to victory, but then he was unable rather to stop Jannik Sinner from winning his second Grand Slam of the year. I think for me, it is a record-setting one. Both in the male and female category, we saw, two great players winning twice, the Australian Open back-to-back and also the US Open. I think the last time we saw this about 15 years ago, which for me I think it was impressive. Despite the fact that we had the last US player in the last couple of years being there on attendance to actually cheer Taylor Fritz to victory, yet he wasn't able number one ranking.
Oh, Michael, a lot of persons see of the fact that his strength or his ability should still be questioned, because when you take a look at his run in this US Open, he was near perfect. So a lot of persons are still wondering, could it be that Jannik Sinner probably is having something? So I don't know what you make of it.
And that is the criticism that so many even present players are also complaining about. There seems to be a double standing when you talk about the International Tennis Integrity Unit. There seems to be a question mark on whether there is a hanky-panky play or there is a monkey business in these activities of Jannik Sinner. Because I tell you, Kingsley, this same offense that Jannik Sinner committed, if we, going back memory lane, we have some notable and renowned tennis player that just once, not even twice, if you fail a doping test and you find out that you took in a banned substance, performance-enhancing drug that have been banned, you go for it. 1 year ban, 2 year ban, 3 years ban, 8 month ban. But then his case is not just once, but twice, which is a clear evidence that there must be something. So, and for me, there seems to be a foul play in this, and that is why I keep saying that the wrong thing should be done because others.
All right, let's stay away from tennis, Michael. Let's take a look at the Nigerian Premier Football League. We saw the conclusions of the remaining of match day 1, and of course 8 games of course were played, and those 8 games produced 18 goals. Also 3 home and away win, 2 goalless and 1 score draw. Michael, what do you make of the statistics from the Nigerian Premier Football League over the weekend?
I think for me, take a look at the statistics. If it's average, you have 18 goals scored in 8 different centers. That is about 2.001% ratio of goals scored by each game. 3 away wins, 3 home wins as well. Very, very good, because you know how difficult it is right here in the Nigerian Premier Football League for you to go away and pick all 3 points, which for me I think is an improvement. More like building or stepping on what the league body has built for last season, talking about the need for them to improve the league in all spheres of the league, which for me I think is very, very good. We saw communication gadgets being delivered to some of the referees that will be taking part in this season edition. That will also help them to be more professional and take accurate decisions as at when due, and that has also helped to improve the course of the league. Going forward, I think
lost to Enyimba 3 over the weekend. Sunshine beat Bayelsa United 3-0, and of course Kwara United lost to Niger Tunis by 2-1. And of course, we saw Bender Insurance. They played goalless against Rivers United. Abbey Royal Stars by 2-0. And Plateau United beat Katsina United by 1-0. National United played 1-1 draw against Shooting Stars. And we saw Kano Pillars beating Ikorodu City 3-0 in that encounter. Michael, which of these results caught your fancy?
Well, the result of Remo Stars caught my fancy because why their head coach, talking about Daniel Ogumodede, is away on international duty, but then the assistant coach was still able to get the positive result, winning convincingly. That is the only result that surprised me over the weekend. Because the Enyimba Heartland clash, I won't say that I'm surprised, because traditionally, I think Enyimba have always had the better of Heartland. In terms of the league won so far, I think Enyimba stand, a wall on its own. Then for Kano Pillar, I think another result out there, not that it really surprised me, but I think it's about their, their man talking about Rabi Ali making a statement out there to also, write his name in the history of Nigerian Premier Football League. This is about his 16th season so far in the Nigerian Premier Football. The man is about 40-something years, yet he's still very healthy, doing the needful, doing some things that even players younger than him can't even do. I didn't know how difficult the Nigerian Premier Football League is. For a man such as Rabi Ali, that even in the Western world, if you get to 39, 38, 40, you are praised for staying strong in the game. That is why you still talk about the likes of Luka Modric, the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, the likes of Pepe. Because of their age, yeah, they are still performing. Then, if you compare the league out there, is quite different from what we are getting here. Despite how tough the Nigerian Premier Football League is, this man is still making a very strong statement talking about Rabiu Ali. I think we need to idolize this man now that he is alive, not when he is dead, before we begin to mention of his prowess, what is achieved for the country and the football league as it is.
Michael, tomorrow the Super Eagles, of course, will continue their AFCON qualifying encounter against Rwanda in Kigali. What are your expectations from for that particular encounter?
I was just listening to the head coach talking about Austin Eguavo 30 to 20 minutes ago on a live interview. He made it very clear. He said that they respect every team. He doesn't underrate the Rwandan team, but then they are going to do the needful, relax, play their normal game, and get all 3 points, which is all I'm hoping for. And this evening, around 5:20 something p.m., they hit the ground running in terms of their training out there. They have started training in Omohoro Stadium out there in Kigali, which for me I think is key. They need to perfect their plans against the game coming up tomorrow. So for me, I have no doubt if all things fall in place and with the synergy and the team spirit that have come alive in the Super Eagles camp, I hope they are going to build on their weekend result against the Cheetahs of Benin Republic to get all 3 points against Rwanda as well, because don't also forget that it is more like a revenge mission again for the Super Eagles against the Rwanda. So I'm expecting us to get all 3 points. It won't be an easy one because we are playing away, but then I think at this point in time, the Super Eagles knows what is at stake, and the players have risen up to the responsibility of getting all 3 points in order at least to be able to amend that broken relationship that they have with the Super Eagles fans.
All right, talking about a result coming from the AFCON qualifiers, Mauritania beats Botswana 1-0, and Cameroon beats Namibia 1-0. Gambia lost to Tunisia by 2-1. And talking about our results, of course, coming in today, Madagascar currently playing against Comoros. It is 1-0 draw in that particular one. I think that game, of course, about to come to an end. Just 2 minutes extra time added in that one. Equatorial Guinea played 2-2 draw against Togo. Michael, this news might not come to you in a very palatable way, as Nigeria Republic currently playing 1-1 draw against Ghana.
I think the Ghanaian fans out there will be they will be going on rampage after seeing what happened last time, last week, where they actually lost to their in front of their home crowd out there. We're just talking about that, behind the scene where we came on, how the Ghanaian fans out there showed their frustration. In fact, they had to chase the players down to the tunnel, and for me, I think it's a very disappointing one for the Ghana Black Stars and their fans out there. Let's hope that they can be able to at least, score a late goal in order to appease the fans. If not, I tell you, maybe some of the players will be jetting out to their different club sides from there after the game.
All right, that's a very good situation as it stands, of course, for Ghana. But let's see what comes up. 5 minutes added to their encounter. See if they can, bounce back from that one. But Uganda, of course, currently beating Congo by 2-0. 4 minutes added to that particular one, and of course, that game will come to